giant woman.
What was the name of the chat? Matt, you've done all this other preparation and you haven't even got this ready. Okay. Doesn't matter, you know, you can change the clothes, you can change the hair, but you can't change the man who's very late and disappointing. She's gotta have that invasive touch, yeah. She reaches in and messes with your gravity. Well, Punch Man 128 Invasive Touch was a very good chapter. Apologise for any kind of issues that may have. It's mostly because, first of all, this lens I have here is stopped working. Well, it works, but it's blurry, so I'm using my long lens, which is good, but it's quite a distance away, which is why I'm also recording from my microphone down here too. So either the audio's probably messed up one way or another. I apologise. Is the audio recording? Please tell me the audio's... Yes, cool. Okay. So then, great chapter. I love this one. Invasive Touch was so good. Like, it's what I wanted, and I didn't know I wanted it, but I did get it, and it was very nice. And there's some touches I really loved in this, but let's just get into the chapter. So, first of all, that cover page. How amazing was that cover page? You've got Tatsumaki, not Tatsumaki, you got just like the brain being made by Orochi as all these blasts like rain in on Tatsumaki from all around this area of the Monster Association, and you see like it's so cool, and it's funny because it's psychics, haha. Obviously, as they're trying to fire these brain blasts, okay. As Jimmy Neutron's firing his brain blast at Tatsumaki, that's the death battle I want to see. As we see this go on, we finally get to see Tatsumaki, like, as these blasts come down on her, she just goes, and she spins them round like a tornado and just decimates them all, like takes like literal like perfect cut chunks out of the landscape, and it just looks so good. It's amazing, and I was like, wow, this chapter looks really good. Of course it does. One Punch Man, and it looks really good later on too. So as we carry on, of course, she's like, I'm not gonna let you get away with that, and Tatsumaki, Giroguro, blah blah blah, they try and do this stuff, and like the beams keep basically interrupting her, and she's starting to get annoyed because she can't, like, normally I just tear this place apart, but I can't because of this, because the kid's somewhere in the area. And then we get just like a panel which changes a lot about Tatsumaki. Basically, that bit means so much to me because for a long time, right, I said last time, Tatsumaki's not a good hero, but at the same time, she's doing stuff like this, and it's like this for a lot of characters in One Punch Man. I'm like, oh, I don't like you, you seem very samey, like, blah, 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 and then you get a little look at them doing something else, and you're like, alright, this is where it's interesting. I mean, like, I don't know why I'm surprised about this, but, like, I'm surprised because I didn't expect to see this, you know, like, I didn't expect this to be, like, Tatsumaki's, like, past, like, flashback more than anything. So we've obviously got Tatsumaki who's got, who's locked up in a cage, and so many questions about what was going on with her past, like, you know, basically, but we get to see that she's got a bit of a soft spot for kids, at least, or, like, at least because she's gone through this herself, where, like, you know, she couldn't find an adult to rely on. I'm guessing this is why she's like, could someone just get this damn kid out of here? And Tatsumaki's a very different character from just being like the powerhouse of, you know, like being like, I'm amazing, I can do it all on my own, like, I don't need anyone, everyone else is beneath me. To see a more caring side of her, to show it not just about Fubuki, who's her sister, but to genuinely see this about something else, is so nice, and it just adds something different to her personality. I love it. It's really good. But obviously, as it goes on, Psychos gets to Orochi, and Orochi wants to, and she's like, come on, Orochi, let's become one. There was certainly no sexual connotations in these few panels, but then Orochi very quickly is like, nah, you think I'm working for you, but actually you're working for me. And she underestimated the strength, which kind of says about, like, how powerful either she as a monster tends to do, because she's got that monster ranking of, hey, she misread the situation, like, she thinks very highly of herself in comparison. She thought she had Orochi down like that, but Orochi has obviously outgrown her, and they are fighting for control, and it leads to this new bug monster form, which I didn't really get why until I spoke to someone who's a lot more successful and popular than me on YouTube, and he basically said, well, it's probably like a Final Fantasy influence, and now I get it, I fully see it, because I was trying to, like, there's always some kind of influence there, right, for One Punch Man, and to finally see the influence on it was, like, once it clicked, like, that's it, like, this is, like, when, like, you know, you got the elegant final boss, all of a sudden takes a much more bigger, monstrous form, makes sense, looks good. The bug, it's, like, not as good as it looks soon, but I'll get onto why I love that one in particular so much. Obviously, this giant, like, hawking form, I should put down this camera lens. That's something I didn't even talk about, was, like, what also something else I loved in this, obviously, as we can see, like, the, like, you know, Orochi's element is spreading throughout the Monster Association. It goes into Psycho's personal like lair and smashes apart the monsters that were in there, and they all have some form of consciousness. These like Orochi prototypes, and I was like, these are loose as well. What would we describe that as, Matt? The best, the greatest wild card, would we? That's a joke because I feel like I'm calling everything the ultimate wild card. And basically, these are loose. And one of my favourite things that he did in the chapter as well was just to show the size difference. Because we see the sofa Psychos were sitting on before looks minuscule compared to them. And I was like, man, what are these guys going to do? And then I got very excited because for a while I've been trying to figure out what Genos' role is going to be and what his fight's going to be in the Monster Association. I assumed it was going to be to save someone. Guys, what if Genos ends up having to fight the hybrids on his own in this new powered up form he's got? I feel like it makes sense. I think it's a fight he can have an amazing fight on, but probably lose at the same time. I just get very excited over that idea now, and it probably won't happen, but if it did, I was 100% right, and no one could take that away from me. Of course, the new form shows up as well, back to Psycho Rochi, and it's really cool. Well, it's cool, it's weird, but I don't think it's like blew me away in the sense of like when Orochi transformed originally to like his badass monster hybrid. I'm like, oh my god. But I still loved it though, and of course what I loved especially was the dual personalities of Orochi and Psychos. Like Psychos being like, I've got this is amazing, and Orochi, I'm gonna kill that bastard, the Baldy who did this to me. Which also answers my question of, because one thing I was certain of was like, hey, Orochi's a smarter monster. And maybe he's gonna obviously what he does in the future that's so different, like to now he's coming back, because obviously I was very concerned because no one had ever survived the one punch before, and now he has, and it was going to be like, what's it going to do for the story? And I was too focused on the smart side when I should be focused more on the monster side, when monsters are very arrogant and prideful and full of revenge and rage. Like, a lot of monsters tend to transform because of hatred. So his hatred of Saitama, it's like his fear turned to hatred, and now he's like, I'm going to tear that Baldy apart and just make sure, like, he regrets messing. He's going to be like, I'm going to crucify him to set an example, basically. And I don't know how that would go, but I think I'd love to see this form against Saitama, just if Saitama was like, Obviously, we get to see him in the chapter 2, but obviously the fight continues, and this time it is just outmatched, because it's not just Psychos that Tatsumaki's fighting, it's the remnants of Orochi, and Orochi is enough to give the edge, because as we see, like, those two spears, basically they mess with Tatsumaki's abilities at least, and somehow, basically, Tatsumaki's like, this isn't right, this is hard, this is different. And then like, it's definitely the Orochi side, because, like, I saw it as that because the Orochi side was grinning. However, one thing I took note of as well with the designs in this was how Psychos was there at first, but as you can see, like, at least I saw throughout the chapter, like Orochi was taking over more and more, so this is a losing battle for Psychos. She's going to lose control, in my opinion, eventually. It's just going to be Orochi in a new form on the loose, wanting revenge against Saitama. But that probably won't happen because of how the chapter ends. But in any case, as the fight continues, they end up reversing, like, the effects of the barrier. So like, the anti-gravity that she's, like, pushing out, like, does it, and it's like a really condensed form, and it's really doing damage to her. And then the greatest thing in this chapter happens when, well, I don't know, I do love the Saitama stuff, but when the energy shoots out and it makes a giant energy Psychos. Now, first of all, of course, it looks amazing, it looks stunning, everything about energy Psychos was super beautiful. But what I love about this in particular is what I love about One Punch Man 2 is how clever Murata is and One is at just, like, coming up with ideas and power-ups and power boosts, because traditionally, at least from what I see, like, in like, when there's a new transformation or a new power boost or something like that, it's a great chance for characters to get a hold of, like, new abilities and new skills and blah, blah, blah. And, like, generally, like, I don't have a problem with that at all. Generally, at least there's some amazing moments. Great example, like, came to my head, especially because it's coming back now. Bleach, when Ichigo got his Bankai, like, he got super speed. He never showed any signs of super speed before, but it was awesome and it looked great, and I love that bit, right? It's so good. However, what I love about these two as creators of this bit, of this character more than anything, is they took a different approach, but it still made so much sense and it worked so well. So, because obviously we've seen in the past with Orochi, like, he controls energy, he shoots out energy, he shoots out energy blasts, of course, along with his massive titanic form. Psychos, as we can see, while we haven't seen Psychos, like, can manipulate energy too, to a high level. Like, it's shown if you're a high level psychic, it's no issue manipulating energy. Tatsumaki literally did it at the beginning of this chapter. So what do? They can, like, you know, Orochi is producing the energy, Psychos is manipulating it to such a high degree that it can make a very clear image of her. Like, just the way, like, the beams will shoot out and start to bend at each other, and it just turns into that massive Psychos was amazing. He's done this, of course, before with Phoenix Man. He took the very, they broke it down to the very basics of the Phoenix, you know, like, it's a bird, it has fire abilities, and it can regenerate. And we know what happened with Phoenix Man. It was amazing, and I just love what he did with this as well. It was just so creative in the best way. Like, it's like he set a challenge to himself, but did it really well too. Oh man, they're so good. They're just a brilliant little duo. And obviously, like, at this point, you know, she's getting beaten down. Like, she's bleeding. She's coughing up blood. This is a problem for her now. She is. I remember I was shocked when I first read this because Tatsumaki, it's not like her to do this. You know. I better stop that timer because how long have you been talking for, Matt? Oh dear, too long. So, as it goes on, we then cut to our boys, Mike Wazowski, Flashy Flash, and Saitama, and they're running around at the speed of sound. Well, speed of... Like, in any case, they're trying to outmaneuver this Orochi element that's chasing them, and of course, like, what I like as well is maybe there's some redemption for Mike. I think that could be, like, you know, a really sad death if a cadre ends up killing, like, Mike Wazowski at some point, but for now it's just looking really good. Obviously he was nearly gone and then Flash saved him. He had no obligation to save him. He could be like monster, but there is a caring side to Flash. We know Flash is quite merciless, at least because obviously he's an assassin, he's a ninja, but he has respect. He's like, you've helped us out, I'm not gonna let you die like this. Thank you for that, Flash. And then the Orochi element goes after Saitama. And it can't grab his head. At one point, it was like, uh-oh, it's got him. And obviously, it was mostly we expected Saitama to just bat it away or something. But the fact, it went for his head and couldn't grip it because it's bald. And Saitama just gets annoyed, just like, go away! Boom! And that's what does it. Like, that's what gives Tatsumaki the opening. Like, I don't know whether, like, you could take it like this. But maybe it's just like, hey, this is how powerful Saitama is. Like, you know... His annoyance, his slight annoyance is more powerful than this, like, hybrid monster that's taking over the Monster Association. It's so, like, it was perfect, though. And then, of course, a large number of cells. We don't know how many, but we can easily see that punch has, like, done a massive number to the Orochi cells. But it hasn't actually damaged any of the area, so it's literally just the force of the shockwave of the punch is just annihilating the Orochi element. And, of course, Psychos panics because at this point in time, Orochi, you know, like, she feels it because she's part of Orochi now, and it's affecting her, and she's like, who is that? And then it's kind of like, you just want these, they keep teasing, especially, like, Psychos and Saitama in particular, because obviously she's, like, the brains of the Monster Association. She doesn't really have a clue about Saitama. She met him briefly, but obviously, like, he smacked the camera down. Kind of like this lens. Haha, that's not what happened. By this coincidence as well, Saitama saved King and Tario from the Orochi element, blasting them up. And King has taken the credit once again for something Saitama's done, where he goes, this is Tari, like, you know, this is King, I've got the kid out of here. Tatsumaki, once again, is like, as expected of King, I can always count on him. Now, I'm not, like, a big shipper of One Punch Man at the moment. I used to be like that, but then the more I looked at it, I was like, man, Saitama's gonna get with Ibuki, she threatened him and stuff. But I just think, like, she shows actual respect to King. I just like the idea of King and Tatsumaki. But any case, she gets him out of there and finally goes, now I no longer have to hold back. I fully believe this, as I'm sure most people do, because it's Tatsumaki and she hasn't struggled with anyone making fools out of dragons so far, you know. This is something I'm very excited for next time, is we finally get to see, you know, the one woman who stands at the pinnacle of the Hero Association finally get to go all out. And this is going to be, hopefully, amazing. Like, I hope it's like Mob Psycho when Mob took on the boss. Or better would be even better, because it's Murata drawing it. And I like One. I think One's great. I actually really like One's art style. I think it's really good. It's got a lot of charm to it. But, man, Murata, I'm very excited to see Tatsumaki go all out. But overall, like I said, great chapter. Super interesting stuff. Like the form changes were great. Obviously, everything I loved about like Psychos and the Energy Psychos was put to rest. Like the little hint of the Tatsumaki flashback, which we better get one day. Obviously, Saitama being himself too was great. Yeah, like I said, everything about this was top. I loved it. But what did you guys think of it? I know like the next chapter's supposed to be out like any day now, or probably any hour at this point. I'll try and get this out soon. So if I'm not too bad, I could probably live react to the next chapter. We'll see. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you liked this review. If you did, give it a like, subscribe if you want to see more. Leave me a comment. Like I said, I'd love to know what you thought of this chapter, your predictions for future stuff. No webcomic spoilers though, please. Why am I on my tiptoes? Okay, we're going to walk over in my tiptoes and turn off the camera. But normally it's like a quick thing you do there, but you can't see it further away. Oh god, that's too close.